guys, I got my nails done. I've got a pretty crown on my nails because I am a queen. You are a queen. We are all queens, and you've got to remind yourself that you are a goddamn queen, right? Get a crown on your nails and it will remind you every day that you are a queen. Hello my beautiful friends and welcome back to my channel. I feel like the polo neck was a bad choice of attire for today's video. I'm already sweating up a mountain over here. Whoo! Sweating up a mountain? A mountain, Jessica. A mountain. Friends. So today we are back, and today we're going to be talking all things relationships. So a few weeks back now, I actually went on my Instagram and I asked you guys to send in any questions you guys had regarding relationships, and you guys came through with the questions. Oh yes, you did. But you've always come through with the questions, and that's why this little internet family is the best internet family. Am I right? Or am I right? So I'm going to be answering a load of your guys' questions today, and I like to think that I do know my fair share about relationships because I have been in 2 long-term relationships that ended, and you know, I have been through all the nitty-gritty in relationships. Like, I swear to God, you could throw me any kind of question and I'm like, yeah, I've experienced that, baby girl, let's sit down, let's talk right now. You know what I mean? Like, I really have been through a lot in the couple of relationships I was in, and I've also been hurt a lot, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. Okay, why is there somebody bloody ringing me when I'm trying to film a goddamn video? Tony, you literally decide to ring at the worst times ever. I'm filming a video. Look, I'm in with my camera. Tony. So the first question is, when is it the right time to talk about mental health issues with a new partner? And I thought this was such a good question, and I've never actually had this question before, and I was like, I want to answer that first, 100%. Okay, so in my own experience, so anytime in the past when I have been dating somebody or seeing somebody, so not in a fully committed relationship, I would always bring that up extremely early on, and probably a lot earlier on than most people would. And the main reason why I've done that is because I don't have anything to be ashamed about. You shouldn't have anything to be ashamed about. That's something that is a part of you, and that's also something that you do have to deal with and something you suffer with and battle with. So it's not something you should be ashamed of. And also, in my experience, I always found that I wanted to tell like somebody that very early on, just so if they do have an issue with it, that they can just like go bye, girl bye, boy bye, off with you. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather know that that's something that they have an issue with earlier on rather than later on. Because if somebody turns around and says, oh, well, you have depression, you have anxiety, like, I don't want to be dealing with that, well, then you do not want to be with somebody like that, if you get what I'm saying. So in my own opinion, I think the earlier on you tell them, the better, because you don't have anything to be ashamed about. And if somebody has a problem with your mental health issues, then they just need some counselling, or they just need to bloody talk to somebody, because they're the one with the issues then, not you. So the next question is, any tips on how to deal with jealousy in a relationship? And this was a question that crept up again and again and again and again. And this would have been a question that I myself 100% would have asked going back a few years ago, had somebody put up looking for questions for a relationship video. Jealousy is something that I have struggled with a lot in the past. I would say that I can be quite a jealous person, and the main reason for that is because of the crap I've had to experience in my past relationships. I've been cheated on, I've been betrayed, I've been lied to, I've been hurt, yada yada yada. The list goes on. And I think when you kind of have a bad experience with somebody or in a relationship, that can tend to make you a much more jealous person, because you've been extremely hurt and stuff like that, if you get what I'm saying. So I really do relate to you on this one, but at the same time, I am nothing compared to what I used to be like. Like, I'm not half the jealous person I used to be. Saying that, I still can be, you know, jealous in my times of, you know, but yeah, I have definitely learned how to kind of, you know, deal with jealousy in a relationship. So the first thing I would say is, don't act on your feelings. It can be so hard, like when you're feeling jealous, to not act on how you're feeling, but you need to remember that, you know, feeling jealous is not the problem. The problem starts when you actually begin to act on feeling jealous. You need to remind yourself that, you know, your other half or whoever you're in a relationship with is their own human being, and of course they're out and going to be interacting with people of the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever it may be on a day-to-day basis. So you kind of need to remind yourself of this, and you know, they are their own person, you are your own person, you don't own them, you know what I mean? You're not in control of them or what they do, and vice versa them with you. So something I would say is to kind of express your jealousy in a soft way. If you do feel like your partner has done something to make you jealous, like they physically have done something to make you jealous, you need to like talk to them in a mature way, instead of like sitting down and pointing the finger and being like, you done this to make me and I'm feeling this way now, it's you. Like, that's the worst thing you can do. Pointing the finger and stuff like that is not a good thing to kind of the right foot to get off at. I feel like if you do feel like they've done something to make you jealous, the best way I have found to kind of deal with it is to more so kind of joke about it. So like whatever way, like if you have kind of a sense of humor or something, just have a little bit of a joke about it, because that way you are joking about it, so you're taking the pressure off the subject, but you're still getting the point across to them, you know what I mean? Do you know when sometimes people say something to you in a jokey way, but you know that there's a sense of truth behind it? It's kind of like that matter. So you know, you could be like, oh my god, it makes me so jealous when you look at so and so, haha, and then like make a joke out of it, and they'll see the funny side to it, but they will know deep down that you're kind of trying to get your point across without being like, you know, really difficult and being like, it's you, that kind of way. So the next thing I would say is that the main reason people get jealous is because they have low self-esteem or they have a lot of insecurities. As I was saying, like I used to be an extremely jealous person, and that all stemmed from my past relationships and the betraying, the cheating and the hurt I went through that made me a very jealous person. So you know, and I did have very low self-esteem and I had a lot of insecurities when I was extremely jealous. So you really need to appreciate yourself. You've got to like love yourself, care for yourself, and just appreciate yourself. You've got to look in the mirror and be like, damn, that is one beautiful human being, look at me. So I feel like you've really got to work on loving yourself if you're a very jealous person, and that's something I really have to do, and god damn, it can be so difficult, like so difficult. But I feel like that is the root of jealousy. You also need to remind yourself that your partner chose you. Your partner's in a relationship with you. Your partner loves you, nobody else. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, there are millions and billions of people in this world, but your partner chose to be with you. So that in itself should be enough. You know what I mean? Like, you could sit there and go if, buts and whys, but you can't control what your partner does at the end of the day. But what you do know at the end of the day is your partner is still with you, and that should be the most important thing. And you've got to just remind yourself of that. They chose me, they love me, they care me, they spend their nights with me, they sleep in bed with me. It's not this girl or that boy or whoever it might be. So the last two things I'd say is that you need to heal your wounds. So if you have been in bad relationships or had bad experience with dating or whatever the case may be, you've really got to heal those wounds you've got inside you, and you've also got to keep reminding yourself that your new partner is not your ex-partner. This is a whole new relationship. That bad relationship, that bad dating experience, whoever, that fuckboy, that fuckgirl, that's over. They're gone. This is a new person. This is a new relationship. So you've got to give them a chance. You've got to give them the benefit of the doubt. Unless they've actually done something or proven to you that you have a reason to be jealous, you really just kind of have to let your guard down and be like, you know, they're not like your bad experience before. And last but not least is you've just got to trust your partner. You really do just got to trust your partner. If you want to have a happy, successful relationship with your partner, you've got to trust them. If you don't have trust, you don't have anything, and that is something I literally preach and live by. Trust is the number one most important thing in a relationship, and you know, you've got to just trust that they're not going to hurt you and they're not going to do the things that you think they're going to do. And until then, just be happy with them, enjoy the time with them, and just have a great goddamn time with them, you know? So yeah, I really hope that helped. It can be such a difficult process, but you will get there, trust me. Like, I am in such a better place with my jealousy than I used to be. So you've got this, baby girl. You have got this. So the next question is how to build back trust in relationships when I've lost it in previous ones. And this again is something I really struggled with and is extremely difficult to do. Well, it can be. In my experience, it was very difficult to do. So the best way that I kind of dealt with it is, you know, you can't just flip a switch and wake up one day and you're like, right, I can trust people again. I've got extreme trust issues. I've got really, really, really bad trust issues from the crap I've dealt with in the past. But all you can do is just work on them over time. And the thing that worked best for me is if I was with somebody new or dating somebody or in a relationship, whatever the case may be, I just had to keep reminding myself. Just say my ex was called Bob. Jessica, he or she is not Bob. They are not Bob. They're not going to hurt you like Bob. They're not going to do this, you know. Until they do something to show you that you can't trust them, you've just got to be able to trust them. Because if you are bringing your trust issues into next relationships, it's just going to damage that relationship as well. Because if you think about it, that new person you're with hasn't actually done anything to show you that you can't trust them. So if they haven't done anything to show you can't trust them, then why not give them the benefit of the doubt and trust them? You know, as cheesy as it sounds, we really do only live once. We really do. And if you're going to let Bob, your ex-asshole woman, Bobby, Bobette, whatever her, he, whatever their name may be, if you're going to let them affect your new relationship, then they still have control over you. And that's what I just had to keep reminding myself. I'm not letting my ex have control over my new relationship and have the power to break down my new relationship. And I feel like that's what worked best for me. Now, that mightn't work for some people. You know, some people might disagree with me on that, but I honestly think that's the best thing you can do. You know, there is no rule book of things you can do to gain back trust. You've just really got to be open-minded and open-hearted, and you know, when you're hurt, you know, you do get over it and you do heal and you become so much stronger from it. So why not just give this person the benefit of the doubt, and this could be the most amazing relationship of your life. You could even marry this goddamn person. You know what I'm saying? So the next question is, have you ever been in love with the idea of a person and not the person himself? Relatable, baby girl. Yes. Oh my god, yes. So I feel like this is something that most humans will experience at one point of their life or another. I also feel like, you know, if you're having a lot of problems with somebody, or you're not sure if you love them anymore, if you feel like your feelings for somebody else, I feel like you really got to take a step back. Do you know the way when you're looking at something like you're the one in this situation, it can be kind of hard to see everything that's going on, but I feel like sometimes you just need to take a step outside the bubble and look at this person. Like, really look at this person day in, day out, all their habits, all their behaviors, all their little quirks, like them on their bad days, them on their good days. You need to look at this person as a whole for everything they are, not your idea of them in your head. Because us as humans, we like to, you know, make ideals of persons in our heads, and it's so bad. But you really do need to take a step outside the bubble and look at this person for who they are, and actually, you know, think to yourself, do I really love this person for who they actually are and not the idea of them I have in my head? Because I know I have done this before, you know, and they're constantly doing things that annoy you or upset you or make you angry, but then you go back into your head and you're like, oh no, but one day they're going to be like this, or but yeah, they might do that, but that doesn't matter. You know, you have to be in love and want to be with the person for who they are, not the idea of the person you think they are. I feel like that can be so toxic, and I know it was when I was in the situation, and it was only when it ended that I realised. I was like, oh my god, like I really was just in love with the idea of who I thought they were, not who they actually were. I really didn't even like who they actually were, but I wanted them to be who I thought they were in my head. So the next question is, what do you think about giving second chances to exes? Well, in my opinion, exes are exes for a reason, and the relationship ended for a reason. You know, I know not all bad breakups are nasty and bad. A lot are, but then there are also a lot of breakups that end on very good terms. But either way, a relationship ended for a reason, and normally a majority of reasons, there's not normally one reason. A lot of the time there are, you know, a few reasons as to why a relationship ended, and I normally am under the impression that if it doesn't work out the first time, what's making you think that it's going to work out the second time? And that's just my experience, my own experience in the past. I have gotten back with an ex before, and also what I've seen with my friends, what I've seen with my family members. I know there are some people that have gotten back with an ex and it has worked out and they've turned out to be extremely happy and gone on and got married and all and had kids and had a whole family and a house and a dog. But more times than not, it doesn't. Like, more times than not, if you get back with an ex, it tends to end even worse than it did the first time. I'm just kind of at a stage now where my motto is, like, if something ends, it ended for a reason. That's the universe trying to tell me something, and, you know, I'm not going backwards. Like, I want to go forwards. You should always want to go forwards. If you're going back to an ex, you really are going backwards. So I really don't think it's a good idea, just from what I've witnessed, my own experience, people close to me. But yeah, you know, I suppose it always depends on the situation and circumstances and stuff. So the next question is, do you believe in the one? And I thought this was a really good question, and a couple of you guys actually asked me this, and a few years ago I was like, yes, there is one person out there for me, my soulmate, and I'm going to find them, and, you know, they're the person that I'm going to marry and have kids with, and, you know, they're the one for me. But I since have watched a few videos, I've talked to some people about this kind of topic, and I've come to the conclusion that no, I don't believe in the one anymore. When you think about it, there are billions and billions and billions of people in this world, you know. And, you know, people tend to just say, you know, you're sitting in a classroom with somebody and you start going out and you're like, they're the one. They're the one out of all the billions and billions of people in this world. But, like, when you think about it, it's just a bit bizarre. You know what I mean? That out of billions of people that you've not met, you're saying that this one person that you happen to be sitting beside at the bus stop or in the classroom or beside in a restaurant or whatever it may be, that they just happen to be there and it was so coincidental and they're the one. But in my opinion, I think, you know, you choose the one. You choose the one. You're choosing the one that you want to be with. You're choosing the one you want to marry, you want to have kids with, you want to live with, and, you know, go through all these experiences with. You are choosing that person. So I don't think there is the one, because I think in this lifetime we have multiple soulmates. Soulmates in friends, soulmates in family members, soulmates in intimate relationships. We have so many soulmates. And I don't think there is the one, you know, because people come and go out of your life to teach you different lessons and stuff. And, you know, the person you end up with, you chose them and they chose you. You chose each other. I know some people might get kind of annoyed at that or get a bit depressed at the thought that, you know, there isn't the one or that kind of way. Do you know, if you've been hurt and people are always like, you've not met the one yet though? But in my head, I actually think it's nicer that, you know, that would be the way, because if you think about it, that you're choosing them and they're choosing you and you are choosing each other to be the one. And I think that's even a nicer approach to it. So yeah, that's just my opinion. So I've had a lot of questions being like, how do you know when to break up with somebody? And I feel like if you are asking that question, if you're asking me that question, if you're asking yourself that question, if you're asking your friends, your family, anybody that question, how to know, I feel like you've got the answer. You've got the answer. Because if you're even questioning that in your head, like how to know, when do I do it, what are the signs, I got so many questions about it. I think your answer is there for you, because if that is even in your head, you obviously don't want to be with that person, and you're kind of looking for somebody to say, this is when you know, or these are the signs, so then you can go, oh yeah, that's it, time to break up, to kind of like, you know, conclude it to yourself. So I think if you're asking yourself that, in itself is, it's time to break up with somebody. So I got a good few questions asking, is it okay to fancy someone while in a relationship? And also, can you be in love and have a crush on somebody else? 110%. Now, I'm not talking about having feelings for somebody else. That is a different ball game altogether. We're leaving that ball game over here. That's not what I'm talking about. By fancy or having a crush on someone is just that you're attracted to somebody. Well, that's my interpretation of fancying somebody, is that you are attracted to them. You think they're good looking. You know, you think they're a beautiful human being and you're just appreciating them in all their beauty and all their glory. You know what I mean? I think if you have feelings for somebody, that's a different story. But fancying somebody or having a little crush on somebody is so normal. And you 100% can while you're in a relationship, because we're humans, and you know, humans look. That is just us as creatures. Like, we literally just look. And it's completely okay to appreciate that somebody else is good looking or beautiful or gorgeous, that doesn't mean you don't love your partner. That doesn't mean you're any less attracted to them. And that doesn't mean that you now want to be with this person. It's just appreciating somebody. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it whatsoever. So I got a good few questions from you guys asking about long distance relationships. And to sum them all up, it was mainly just asking for advice for long distance relationships. And also, do I think they can work? They 150% can work. Without a doubt, they can work. I think it's just the little things you've got to do here and there to keep it alive and to make sure it really can work. So the first thing I would say is to avoid excessive communication. I feel like a lot of the time when people are in a long distance relationship, they feel like they've got to like compensate for the time that they're not together by communicating 24/7, and I feel like that's the worst thing to do, because you guys are just going to be on top of each other, literally on top of each other. Do you know the way they say like distance really does make the heart grow fonder? And it applies with online communication as well. Like, you know, talking to them for 12 hours a day just isn't realistic, and that's just not going to last long term. So the next thing I would say is to see it as an opportunity. You know, you've really got to think about it as, if you want to live with your partner, first you've got to learn to live without them. You've got to see it as an opportunity to grow together and learn from this experience. And if I were you, I'd just view it as an exciting adventure together. You know what I mean? Like, to show each other your love for each other and your commitment and how much you really do want to be together. I feel like when long distance relationships work, they really do turn out to be the most amazing thing ever, because you guys like stuck together despite the distance. Like, there's so many people who would just throw in the towel as soon as they hear the word distance. They're like, okay, see ya, bye, it was nice knowing you. So the next thing I would say is to communicate regularly. Now, obviously not excessively, but regularly throughout the day. So like good morning text, good night text, update each other throughout the day about how your day is going, what's going on in your life kind of way. You know, you should like FaceTime, like video call, and where you can see each other a few times a week, send little voice notes throughout the day, pictures, like communicate regularly. And if you do stuff where you guys can see each other's face and stuff like that, it really does make the world of difference, especially in a long distance relationship. I feel like them little things are so important, and like little voice notes throughout the day, because hearing each other's voice and stuff like that really does help. So the next thing I would say is to talk dirty to each other. So send each other like little teasing sexual messages. Like, sexual tension really is one of the most important things in a relationship, and you've got to keep that alive. And it's like so easy still to keep that alive even if you're long distance. Like, don't think just because you're in the distance you can still have sexual tension. Oh yes, you can. You've just got to, you know, be clever about it and really think about it. So yeah, just like little teasing messages now and again here and there, or if you're talking or whatever it may be. So the next thing I'd say is to do things together. So put on a movie at the same time and watch it, or a documentary. Go for a walk at the same time and be on FaceTime together, and play a game together at the same time or against each other online. Doing things together. You guys can still do stuff together even though you're in a long distance relationship. Like, don't think you can't. Another thing I would say is to have a goal in mind. Well, first of all, obviously have, you know, always have a date set when you're next going to see them, so you guys both have something to look forward to. So just say you're leaving to go home from seeing this person. Before you go home, make sure you guys have another date as to when you guys are going to see each other, because when having something to look forward to really does make the world of difference, instead of being there like, I physically do not know when I'm ever going to see this person again. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know when I'm going to see them, but if you have a date set, you've got something coming. And another thing I'd say is to have a goal in mind, so as to when the distance is going to be over, so that you do know that the time is coming as to when it'll be over. That might be a few weeks, few months, few years, but once you guys have a goal, at least you just have something to work towards then. You guys really need to just stay honest with each other and communicate a lot, and let that person be there for you and support you. You know, if you guys are feeling fear or insecurity or jealousy or whatever, just be honest with each other and communicate. It's so important. Also, enjoy time with family and friends. Like, enjoy this time to be you and do your own thing, and have your time with your family, have your time with your friends, and having more free time. I really would say that's a huge one as well. And also, you know, send each other, like in the post, like handwritten notes or a really small thoughtful gift. It doesn't have to cost much money. There's just something thoughtful that they'll open and they'll smile, and it'll mean a lot to them. So yeah, I really would say they're like the most important things. Like, that would be my best advice for a long distance relationship, and it definitely can work. You've just got to be committed to making it work. So yes. So the next question is there any way of knowing when you're ready for a serious relationship? And I got this a few times as well from different people. So in my experience, of my own opinion, I honestly think you will know when you're ready for a serious relationship. And I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but trust me. Like, I remember when I got out of my last relationship, there was a few times where I had the opportunity to get into a relationship again. And I was just like, no, I knew I wasn't ready. I knew I didn't want one. It didn't feel right with that person. It didn't feel right at that time in my life. You just know. You know when you have that gut feeling inside you, which is telling you if it's right or wrong. That is what's going to tell you. And I've experienced this before. And when I got into my first relationship, I was only 15 years of age. But I knew it just felt so right with that person at that time in my life. It was what I wanted and it just felt right. So, and vice versa, as I said, there's been times when I was like, no, because it just didn't feel right. So you will 100% know. And if you're asking that question, it obviously hasn't felt right yet, but it will feel right. And when it does, you will know. There will be no questions, there'll be no doubts. You'll be like, yes, I'm ready, let's do it. I'm excited. So friends, that is the end of me talking all things relationships for today. I definitely can do a part 2 if you would like me to. Just let me know down in the comments below and smash a big thumbs up if you would like to see more of these kinds of videos. I really hope you enjoyed and maybe, you know, took something from it or learned something from it or whatever it may be. I love you all so very much and I cannot wait to see you all in my next video. Mwah. Bye bye friends.